Richard Deacon, born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was an American television and motion picture actor. Career: This tall, bald and usually bespectacled character actor often portrayed pompous, prissy, and/or imperious figures. He made appearances on the Jack Benny program as a salesman and a barber, and on NBC's Happy as a hotel manager. He had a brief role in Alfred Hitchcock's film The Birds as Mitch's neighbor who advises Melanie that Mitch has gone to Bodega Bay for the weekend. He played a larger role in the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, as a physician in the bookend sequences added to the beginning and end of this film after its original previews. In Billy Wilder's 1957 film adaptation of Charles Lindbergh's unregistered trademark as The Spirit of St. Louis, Deacon portrayed the chairman of the Columbia Aircraft Corporation, Charles A. Levine, who, in February 1927, refused to sell Lindbergh his company's recently acquired Bellanca monoplane for Lindbergh's unregistered trademark S transatlantic flight unless his company could choose to pilot. His best-known roles are Milksop Mel Cooley on CBS's The Dick Van Dyke Show and Fred Rutherford on Leave It to Beaver, although Deacon played Mr. Baxter in the 1957 Beaver pilot episode It's a Small World. He co-starred as Talia Bankhead's butler in a classic episode of the Lucy Dacey comedy hour called The Celebrity Next Door. Deacon played Roger Bell on the second season of TV's The Mothers-in-Law, having replaced Roger C. Carmel in the role. He played Principal Jazz Bow Conroy in The Danny Thomas Show. In Carousel, the film adaptation of the classic Rodgers and Hammerstein stage musical, Deacon had a bit role as the policeman who admonishes Shirley Jones and John Diner about Gordon MacRae in the famous bench scene. It was one of the few films in which he did not wear glasses, as were his roles in Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, and the 1954 costume Adar copyright Sierra copyright E, where he played Gene Simmons' elder brother, an 18th-century Marseille silk merchant. Philadelphia native Deacon played the role of Morton Stern's butler, George Archibald, in The Young Philadelphians, starring Paul Newman. He played an imbibing justice of the peace, Reverend Zaron, in the classic 1957 Bud Boat-Titcher-directed Western Decision at Sundown. Deacon appeared in many sitcoms, including It's a Great Life, The People's Choice, How to Marry a Millionaire, Guestwood, Ho! Pete and Gladys, The Donna Reed Show, The Real McCoys, Get Smart, Bonanza, and The Rifleman. In episode 5 of the first 1964 season of The Munsters, Pike's Peak, he plays a water district commissioner, Mr. Pike, buying the underground right to lay pipe. In The Addams Family, he administers Cousin It a battery of psychological tests in the May 1965 episode Cousin It and the Vocational Counselor. In 1966, he appeared on Phyllis Diller's short-lived television sitcom, The Pruits of Southampton. He also guest-starred in the NBC family drama National Velvet, and in the ABC Warner Brothers crime drama Bourbon Street Beat, and on The Twilight Zone in the 1964 episode The Brain Center at Whipple's. In 1967, Deacon played Ralph Yarby, Director of Security for lumber baron D.J. Mooney, in Disney's The Gnome Mobile. In 1968, he played Dean Wheaton in the Walt Disney film Blackbeard's Ghost. In 1969, he co-starred on Broadway as Horace Van der Gilder in the long-running musical Hello, Dolly, reuniting him on stage with Diller, who played the musical's zany title character. In 1983, Deacon reprised his role of Fred Rutherford in the television movie Still the Beaver, a sequel to the TV series Leave It to Beaver, which aired from 1957 to 1963. In 1984, Deacon had a cameo role in the teen comedy film Bad Manners. Personal life: a lifelong bachelor, Deacon was a gourmet chef. In the 1970s and 1980s, he wrote a series of cookbooks and hosted a Canadian television series on microwave cooking. Death: Deacon died from cardiovascular disease in 1984, aged 63, and his remains were cremated. Selected filmography. References. External links: Richard Deacon at the Internet Movie Database, Richard Deacon at the Internet Broadway Database, Richard Deacon at Find a Grave.